4 years ago. They scheduled me for that. And
you could just call them and ask them what they're going to do, so you know ahead of time.
well, I gotta go anyway because he's got to clear me for the urologist. You see what I mean? He's got the upper hand. I have to go along with him to get clearance for the urologist who's waiting on my prostate. Been waiting for 4 months now. It's been one thing after another.
Is that Gino LaBridget?
So.
Whoa.
And now I'm convinced these doctors are 90% of them. It's a financial thing.
Oh yeah, I know.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a financial
Or they're guessing.
Let me see those blue eyes. Are they
One
green?
guy say
They're green.
they could care less about you.
Yeah.
Look at my camera. Come on.
What happened to Michael?
I don't know. I'll go get him.
Tell him to hurry so we can get on with it.
All right.
Let's get on with the interview.
Come on, Michael. Where are you?
Okay.
Okay, let's get on with the show.
Okay, here's
On with the show.
Here's what this is about, Tommy. About every year, Veterans Day comes up. And since I'm a veteran, but not a veteran of an actual war, I was in the military, but I didn't see any action. I'm often asked to help with the ceremony. And I have an uncle from my dad's side of the family that was wounded in World War II. And I talked to him somewhat about his experiences. And Nita was telling me that you were in some battle that was the longest naval battle or something like that. And
yeah.
I wanted to ask you something about that.
Called the Battle of Komodorsky Island. It's up in the Bering Sea, north of the Aleutians. It's owned by Russia. That's why it's Komodorsky. Actually, it's right off the coast of Russia up there. And this all happened when I was serving aboard the USS Salt Lake City, a heavy cruiser, and we were doing patrol up there. The Japanese were trying to reinforce one of the Aleutian islands called Attu. They was going to take troops in, and we ran into them about between 4 and 5 o'clock early one morning. So there was a Salt Lake City. There was one light cruiser and 4 destroyers against a major force. It was outnumbered like 3 to 1. So they sounded general quarters and flank speed ahead. It was a running battle. We was doing a zigzag course and they was coming after us, shooting. We was firing dead astern. We had 8-inch guns on there. We had 10 of them, 5 forward and 5 aft. So we was firing dead astern. 5 8-inch shell. Every 15 seconds, they was getting off the main battery. To show you what, I got a Saturday Evening Post magazine at home. It shows those shell casings stacked up on the main deck. But anyhow, they was after us. 32 knots, top speed. And we got hit. And we got hit in the boiler room where I was. But it was in the fuel tank in the side of the boiler room. And it flooded the fuel tank with salt water. And the fires went out in the boiler. And when that happened, the ship immediately lost power. It went from 32 knots to 0. The name of the story that's in the Saturday Evening Post magazine was written by a correspondent that was on the ship at the time. He saw it firsthand, and he titled the story, My Speed Zero. That's the name of the story. So here they come. We're sitting ducks, and we had 4 destroyers with us. So they start laying a smoke screen between us and the Japs who were bearing down on us. And then we reggaed fires in the boiler, took off 32 knots again, and we was hitting direct hits steadily, and we knocked every one of them out of action where they had to turn back and retreat. And that was just called a miracle. It was compared to David and Goliath. Yeah. And
How many hours did the battle last?
the battle lasted. It set a record. It was the longest surface engagement in naval history. 3 hours and 46 minutes, continuous fire. That's a lot. That's a lot of shooting.
Were any of the other ships that were with you hit, like yours was?
I think one of those destroyers got hit, but the other cruiser had it was the flagship. The Admiral was riding that one. I don't think it came through. It came through without a scratch. But we took the most damage. The Salt Lake City. We didn't miss much in World War II. They called her the one-ship fleet, the Salt Lake City. We was in it from the very first offensive made in the world in World War II, Marshall and Gilbert Islands, February the 12th, 1942, after Pearl Harbor was hit, right on through, one after another. So during the entire war, I got 2 leaves during the entire war. I got a 20-day leave in November of 1942, and then I was transferred in the middle of 44. I got a 30-day leave. So during the entire war, I got 2 leaves. And
Was that pretty common for people to be out there and engaged for that long?
Well, we put in more than our share of sea time out there. Mm-hmm. It was so bad. You was at sea week after week, and your supplies were down. You'd go through the chow line, and they'd take one of these serving spoons in the meatless stew, and 1 spoon. That was 1 thin slice of bread. You hold it up and see the weevils in it. That was day after day. That was your food. I remember how many times gambling all over the ship. I mean, just thousands of dollars. There's nowhere to spend money. We wouldn't get going anywhere. No liberty, no nothing. So I remember, wouldn't it be nice? We used to talk to one another, the sailors. It should be nice to have a quart of milk. When it real milk, it had chalky powdered junk when it first come out. Mm-hmm. That was your milk. Say, yeah, a real quart of milk. Well, I'd give $50 for a quart of milk. I'd give $100 for a quart of milk. You had all this money and nowhere to spend it. And that's true. It wasn't just an expression. You was serious. Yeah. If somebody could produce a real quart of milk, I'd have given them $100. Wow.
Now, when
now they feed good, yeah, like restaurants all over it, you know. But during the war, it was terrible.
Were you on the Salt Lake City when Pearl Harbor was hit? Were you stationed on? Is that what they call it? Stationed?
Oh yeah.
On that boat?
Yeah, we
ship. Sorry.
We were taking a load of Marines down to Wake Island for duty, and we was coming back from Wake Island, and we got the report on the radio that Pearl Harbor was being attacked. Well, nobody really believed it. This is a Sunday morning, you know, until the old man got on the PA system, and he confirmed it was for real. The Japanese were attacking Pearl Harbor. So, we're at war. So then Roosevelt made his big speech, declared war that very day. And we pulled in there Monday morning, the following morning. We pulled into Pearl. And Battleship Row was just like you see it in the movies. So I got to witness all that. And as soon as we pulled in, they went out looking for Japs. So we turned right around, got underway, went to see, didn't find anything. So yeah, I was in it from start to finish. Start to finish.
When did you enlist when you were 18?
No, I was 17. I was 17 when this stuff was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent my 18th birthday in June of 1942 in Brisbane, Australia. We got to Brisbane.
Yeah.
And was at Brisbane about a week, I guess. That was a wonderful Liberty town. Later on, I got to serve aboard a refrigeration ship, and we hauled fresh stores out of Sydney. Sydney is a great, it was over 3 million at that time. But when I used to watch the Olympics there, they showed Sydney. They showed places I'd been. Bondi Beach, we used to go down to Bondi Beach all the time. But boy, that thing has sure changed. But the bridge is still there. Mm. They're proud of their bridge. As soon as you go ashore, have you seen our bridge?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw your bridge. Yeah, they're all proud of that bridge down there. Oh, Sydney's a wonderful town. At that time, it was about 3 million. So that was the end of it, and I got sent back to Philadelphia in the summer of 1945, and I was going to school back there, taking a night course, boiler school in the Philadelphia Navy Yard, when the war, the VJ Day, the war with the Japs ended. Well, that was it, because the Germans had surrendered in May, and the Japanese surrendered in August. So we was out for like a coffee break when the instructor of the class, they started blowing those whistles all over the Philadelphia Navy Yard. What's going on? What in the world are they blowing those whistles for? We went back into the classroom, and he told us, the war's over. Liberty starts immediately. And we took off, and I went on home to Philadelphia, and it was celebration in the streets, just like you said in Times Square.
Right.
Well, that same thing was going on Market Street there in Philly. That was quite an experience. At that time, none of you kids were born. Not even Richard. Your mom was home waiting for me. And the apartment, little dumpy apartment we rented. So I got home. What are you doing home? I said, the war is over. I couldn't believe it. I thought that war was going to go on forever, this month after month. I said, the war is over. No kidding. Yeah. So that was it.
So when the
That was the end of it.
getting back to that long battle, when all that was going on, I mean, you know, all those hours of shooting and everything. What
What was I doing?
Yeah, what were you doing, and what was the?
I was making it go. I was in front of a boiler, keeping the steam pressure up, where we could take off.
Were you really scared?
You really didn't have time.
Oh.
You're so busy, you don't have time to get scared.
Yeah.
That's the truth. But when that shell hit that fuel tank, my fires went out. I thought, man, we're in trouble. That steam pressure started dropping off. The ship started slowing down to nothing.
Were the guys calm, or were they all yelling and screaming, or what?
Oh, they're all action. We had to shift over to a standby service tank and regain suction and bleed the salt water out of the system. I mean, you got...
So orders are being yelled all over the place, or was everybody calm? I mean, what was it like?
Busy.
Yeah.
Just busy. And once we regained fires in that boiler, we was gone again. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, why was that correspondent on the ship? I mean, was that common?
He was riding the ship just for the experience. And then we had a night engagement once down in the Solomon Islands. It happened at 15 minutes till midnight to 13 minutes after midnight. It was 28 minutes of night action, like hand-to-hand combat, within 1,000 yards of each other. And we really blasted them that night. Our captain was Captain Shorty Small was his name. And they call that, it had two names. It was called the Battle of Cape Esperance, or the Second Battle of Savo Island. And it's 28 minutes in dark, pitch black. And we got hit again in the ballroom I was in. Shell, 8-inch shell come in through the side. I was in front of number 2 boiler, and my buddy was in front of number 1. They're side by side. Well, the shell came in on his side and killed him. It wrapped a handrail, a steel handrail, wrapped it around his body. They had to bury him at sea with that handrail on him. They couldn't get it on. This is another 17-year-old that got killed. His name was McCracken. And his dad was a warrant officer in the Navy. But McCracken got killed that night. And there's, I think 5 or 6 got killed on the ship that night. But, yeah, we got hit again in the boiler room. So he took it all. And that boiler room caught on fire. It just, the whole thing went up, and we had to abandon the fire. We didn't get back down in there for a couple of days. So they had to stand by after firing. We had 4 boilers forward and 4 back aft. So we steamed out of there on the after boilers, and once that fire burned itself out, we got back down. Started our cleanup work then. Yeah. That was...
Did you get injured in that too?
No, I came through that fine. That was October 11th and 12th, 1942. This other deal, Commodorski, was March 26, 1943, like a year later. Almost a year later. So yeah, it's I saw quite a bit out there. More than I ever want to see again.
How do they know where to shoot when you're 1,000 yards away at night?
Huh?
How do you know how to aim in the dark?
Oh, they have these gun control experts, you know. And they have them.
Did we damage the other ship?
Huh?
Do you know if we damaged the other ship?
Yeah, they was all, some of them were sunk. And what wasn't sunk, they give up the fight. They're totally demolished. Yeah.
On the second battle of Savo Island, was the other ship hindered at all? Did we get them, or did they get away?
We got hit in the USS Boise. She was a light cruiser. She got hit. One destroyer, the Duncan, was sunk. And the Boise was in bad shape. Bad, they had her number. They was throwing shells into her, and we steamed between her and the enemy and saved that ship. You know what this Boise did? Went back to Philadelphia and got all the glory. We used to hate those guys. Don't mention the Boise to us. It's true. We went into Pearl for repairs. They went to Philadelphia, back to States. They were the heroes. No mention of any of this. Nobody
What ship
knew
were you
that
on?
but, Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Glories.
for the longest
Snaggers.
time you didn't want to mention the Boise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those were the days. Yeah, we saved her. It was commonly known that we saved the Boise from sinking. She was really badly damaged, and we steamed alongside. That's when we got hit. So,
What kind of, I've never heard anything about whether you received any medals or commendations or anything.
oh, we got a Navy unit citation for that battle up north. Yeah, we did get a Navy unit citation for that.
All right.
So that's about the size of it.
What was the best thing about, I mean, this was a lot of dramatic things that happened, but what did you like best about being in the service, or during, when you were in the war, what did you like best about it?
About being
Like
in
when
the
you-
service during the war.
Yeah, is there anything good about it at all?
What few Liberty ports we went to, which were few and far between. Australia is a wonderful country. I first went there in May of 1942. And we was regarded as their saviors at that time. There was a big invasion scare on. They'd already invaded New Guinea right north of Australia. So when we pulled in there, we was the first combat ship to pull into Australia, Brisbane, Australia, for years. And we were treated like celebrities. They had a parade for us right down Queen Street, elephants and everything. After the parade, now this is true, it's going to be hard to swallow this. You couldn't walk down the sidewalk, they're stopping you for autographs. It's just like a movie star.
Huh.
Inviting you home for tea.
Yeah.
Won't you come over? And it wasn't real, you know. This is true. I experienced this. He was like
That's
a movie
amazing.
star. We were their heroes, and man, they just,
That was a good part.
they was there for us.
Huh.
So,
That's great.
yep. Big parade right down Queen Street.
Yeah.
The parade broke up and we couldn't walk on the sidewalk. I'm not kidding you. They had their autographs, autograph anything, any hunk of paper. Some of those sailors they put in Clark Gable, Robert Taylor. And it's funny, those Aussies, they think you're from America, you're an American. You know all these people.
Yeah.
Do you know Robert Taylor? Do you know? Have you ever met Clark Gable? Or, you know, some of them lay it on. No, yeah, I know it. But they really do. Being from the States was
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
from another world, you know.
yeah.
So it was quite an experience. It really was. Very unique experience. I'd say Australia, and because I didn't get to Sydney for about two years later on this refrigeration ship I was on. But by that time, Americans were common thing then. But it was people were nice. Aussies are nice people. So I'd say that my two favorite countries were Australia and Spain. Barcelona, Spain is really nice. Big, beautiful, ancient, old cobblestone, and nothing modern over there. But nice.
Yeah.
Barcelona, Spain, and we had two or three countries in Spain, but that was the big one. Another one was called Cadiz down south, and then we hit some other town down, I forget now, down where the flamenco dancers are. That's down in southern Spain. We pulled in funny, I can't remember names anymore. We pulled in there for a while, but Barcelona's up in Catalonia province. That's where these Catalonian pigeons come from. Catalonian tumbler, Catalonia. In Spanish it's called Catalunya, in English it's Catalonia. There's one letter change. But anyhow, and then we hit Spanish islands, Las Palmas. Palma de Mallorca was one of them. It's a resort town, really nice. And that's about all. I didn't like anything over there other than that. Like I've been Algiers and Morocco and well, England. And we had a little place on the channel there called Hastings, England, for about a week. That was pretty nice. Then we went on up to Scotland, Edinburgh. I liked the old castles and everything up in Edinburgh. That was interesting. There's been all the Atlantic islands, the Cuba, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. Now those are really nice. Nassau down the Bahamas. That's a beautiful country. Bermuda's nice.
You sailed all over.
Huh?
You sailed all over.
All over the place, yeah. I spent 6 months up in Thule Bay, up the northern end of Baffin Bay in 1946. As far north as you could go. We carried some soldiers up there to establish an air base up in Thule Bay. And we had a couple of these. I was on a seaplane tender then, and we had a couple of these big old PBY seaplanes, and they do the operating. We just set at anchor. Well, we sat there until it took an icebreaker to get out of that place, and we went up there in June of 1946, and it's really weird. We used to get off watch at midnight. It'd be daylight up there. You could go up on the main deck and it'd be daylight, midnight. So we stayed up in there until October, and we had to get out of there then because the ice was getting too thick. Icebreaker went ahead of us and cut us a path. So and been to St. John's, Newfoundland, Iceland, Greenland, up and down that way.
How's Iceland?
Iceland is nice. Greenland is full of ice, and Iceland is great. It's really weird. Yeah, Iceland is nice and green. It's a pretty island.
How long were you in the Navy?
I was in the Navy 20 years and 9 months, and I got credit for 21. If you did 6 months or more out of that last year after 20, you got credit for a full year. And the only reason I stayed that long was because my last tour was in the Charleston Navy Yard, shore duty. If I'd have still been on sea duty, I could have left at 19 years and 6 months and got credit for a full 20. But I did that extra time and got credit for 21, which is a little bit more on the retirement pay. But I was at the Minecraft base here in Charleston, my last tour of duty.
Now, when you joined the Navy, did you join because there was rumors of war, or did you join to get out of town?
I
Or
didn't know what a war was. No, I joined to get out of Glendale and get to San Diego. That's why we all joined the Navy. Get that sailor suit on, get on the West Coast, where something was going on. Nothing was going on in Glendale, Arizona, believe me. Hanging out in the pool hall. So the whole gang went in the Navy. Donnie Kramer and me and this kid named Sterling, Marty Robbins, and his cousin Ben Sykes and I joined together. The whole gang went in the Navy. Yeah.
did you ever regret going in the Navy?
Huh?
Did you ever regret going in the Navy?
Never.
Yeah.
I don't regret anything. It's, you can't believe this retirement pay is, what would I do without it right now? You can't live on Social Security.
Yeah.
To me, it was really a means to an end. I had good duty, I had bad duty, but overall, peacetime was pretty good. Pretty good duty. So, no, I don't regret a day of it. I'd do it all over again.
All right. Well, thank you.
All righty. I guess
The grilling.
I guess that winds up the grill.
That grills you.
How about a salute?
That flips
Give us a
over.
Navy salute.
When we get home, I'll show you that Saturday Evening Post magazine. And it's got a few pictures. And it's funny, the pictures that are in that magazine were taken by the ship's photographer. I used to have those same snapshots. And when I left Charleston, I had all my Navy stuff in a big box when we left James Island. When we got to Phoenix, I didn't even miss that box till I went looking for something or other. The whole box was gone. All my different courses I'd taken, the service schools I'd gone to, everything.
The whole thing, huh?
The whole thing was gone.
What kind of a box was it?
Just a cardboard box.
Oh.
I used to keep it up in the closet. Well, when the Mayflower moving van came, I guess they just took that box and shoved it in there. We got to Phoenix, they unloaded our stuff in the warehouse there because we didn't have a delivery address. I had to go out and rent a house, see. Well, it got lost in the shuffle, and I had stuff that couldn't be replaced.
Sure enough.
And that,
Shit.
That's kind of painful.
yeah. To this day, I haven't got a single discharge paper. Nothing. Not a thing. I haven't got a DD-214. I got nothing to show I was in the Navy for 20 years. Well, I do have one thing. It's a big retirement certificate that they sent me while I lived up in Booner. At the end of my See, when you go in the Fleet Reserve after 20 years, you're not retired. You go into the Fleet Reserve, subject to recall. And you spend 10 years in the Fleet Reserve, then you're placed on their retired list. Well, when that happened, they sent me this big retirement certificate. It's on top of my desk at home, I'll show it to you. But,
Daddy, how
that's
about-
the only thing I got.
How about these, Chris showed me these letters,
Oh.
letters of commendation, or,
Oh yeah, that's my different combating officers, no?
so did you
Oh,
keep
what
that
a
separate?
good job I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of those.
You kept that separate from that box then?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I didn't even have that. Well, that box was just discharge papers and service schools I'd gone to.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was all in my late career
Yeah.
in the mine force in Charleston mainly. Yeah, I think every letter well, one of them was on the storms of DD 780 up in Norfolk. But yeah,
Yeah, I wish we could find that box.
yeah, the box is who knows what.
I know, I wonder where that